Hey guys, today we're playing Back to the Future the game on the PlayStation 3. This is also available on the on the PC and the iOS devices, which are the Apple devices. As far as I know, that's all. I think they actually put this on the Wii. But anyway, this is supposed to be Back to the Future 4. This is episode 1. If you'd like to see a whole playthrough, let me know. I have the PC version. This was easier to record because this was on the PS3 and they were letting you play the first chapter for free to try to entice you to get the other, I believe it's 4 chapters. But if you're interested in seeing the rest, let me know. But that'll have to be on the PC version, and it won't look nearly as good as this version. Not because the PC version looks any better. Not because the PC version looks worse. It's because I'm using Hypercam, and I have to lower the settings a little bit. And it's, I believe, to make it run decent, I can't run it in widescreen without lowering the resolution ridiculous amounts. So, I'm sorry for getting off on a rough start. I haven't recorded a video in a long time. This is usually later than what I would record a video, but I felt like I needed to. And I did record some classic games, but they totally bombed when I went to go record them, so I got to re-record them, and I just wasn't up to redoing the same commentary on the same games, but I want to cover the game, so I'll give it a break and maybe do something either new or something different in the next few days or so. But I really wanted to make a video. I've really been wanting to make a video of this because every Back to the Future game I covered so far has been atrocious. So without further ado, let's play. See, my speech is horrible today or tonight. It's just a weird day. We're actually snowed in. Well, what you would consider Virginia to be snowed in, which is like 1 inch, which is really weird because usually we get at least a few feet around this time of year. You have a choice to show goals or not. This plays a lot like The Walking Dead, and for a good reason, because it's by the same people who made The Walking Dead. And they also made a Jurassic Park game that I would like to play. It didn't get as high as reviews as this or The Walking Dead, but I still want to play it because it looked good to me. I'm gonna go with no thanks just because I already have an idea what to do. I finished all these chapters before, but again, this is the PS3 version, not the PC version, which I had and played through. But I imagine they're quite similar. So, as you can see, Christopher Lloyd actually reprises his voice, which is kind of cool. He kind of sounds really old, though, which is kind of depressing. All these movies you watched, and either people are dying or they're getting old, and it's weird because then it's kind of a verification that you're getting old as well. I have no idea why they chose this art style for the game instead of a more realistic style, for the simple fact that there's like cursing in the game and stuff like that, and it's like the movie. I mean, it has the same amount of, I wouldn't say adult content like it's rated R or something, but I mean, it's not a kiddie game. Like, it doesn't fluff anything. Like he says, when this thing hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. I mean, it still has that tone to it. This first chapter probably feels the most like the movies. There's some cool storylines, and from what I read, there were actually some ideas from the sequels of the actual real movies, but I don't know whether it's the voice actors or the art styles. Some things seem kind of silly. So here you can either choose to reenact exactly what Marty says during the movies, or you can change stuff. Just to see if I remember everything from Back to the Future, I'm going to try to recreate the movie. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
There you go again. A little bit of adult content, but with like a kiddie vibe to it. I'm curious what the Wii version looks like. I've seen videos on YouTube, but that really can't do it justice. the textures and normal maps on here are a little bit lower. On the PC version, they're a lot higher. This looks like this contains the PS3's amazing anti-aliasing blur effect that I love so much. If you didn't get the hint of sarcasm there, it was definitely there. Sorry for stuttering. And I'm apologizing again. I'm not sorry for stuttering. The person that does Marty's voice isn't Michael J. Fox, but he does a really good job. The last chapter actually does have Michael J. Fox's voice in it, which is kind of cool. I think that might have been a last minute decision. It sucks that Tom Wilson, the guy who does Biff, as prominent as a character he is in this game, in the series, I mean, not to like create any spoilers or anything, but you know, if there's a Back to the Future game, somehow Biff or one of his ancestors will be involved. Like, it sucks that Tom Wilson can do the voice, and they got some guy that doesn't sound much like anything like Tom Wilson, so I don't know what that's all about, because he's not a huge celebrity unless he just doesn't want anything to do with Back to the Future. I'm not going to play through this whole chapter. This will probably be a somewhat decent length video. I try to keep them at 15 minutes, but I rarely succeed. You use the left analog stick to move. This is a little bit different. I got a trophy. You can see I haven't played this version on the PS3 before. Having the PlayStation Plus, although I believe you have access to the first chapter without PlayStation Plus. Having the PlayStation Plus, I can't believe the amount of free content they give you. You get like absolutely nothing with Xbox Live Gold, and I think Xbox Live Gold actually costs a little bit more. It's ridiculous.
Notebook.
So this didn't happen in the movie, obviously.
Flux capacitor?
That's it.
What the heck's a flux capacitor?
If you hear background noises, that's because I didn't have this subtitled, and I need to hear somewhat what they need to say, but I'm trying to make it so I'm talking loud enough where maybe that'll cover it up. If it doesn't, this is a weird video, and it'll keep up with the whole time travel parallel dimension vibe.
Mass equals I times Z, and E equals the square root of Z times C.
Doc, something's way off here.
I like how they kept the music from the movies. Very few Back to the Future games for whatever reason, beside the main theme.
Doc?
And even the main theme isn't even in in some of the games. Like the NES game didn't have the main theme. They had Johnny Be Good, and
Doc, what is it?
I don't even know if they had any other songs in it. Some of the PC games have the Back to the Future music in it, but it's rare. This Back to the Future game is really good, but it's different kind of Back to the Future game.
Come back.
I really just want to play a Back to the Future game where you can just drive the DeLorean, which I was hoping you could do on this, but since it's a point-and-click adventure game, it's not really happening. I love the Universal Studio
okay?
posters done in the art style,
Mom,
especially the weird science
just a
poster.
nightmare.
And you have Frankenstein,
past.
Miami Vice, and then you
Doc
have the
was there.
photograph from Back to the Future 3. If you can't tell, like,
Well, you're safe and
Back to the
sound now.
Future trilogy
Back in
is
good
one of
old
my favorite
1986.
like movie trilogies ever, so I'm super
But you
enthusiastic
better get
about
up.
it,
Your father's
which kind
waiting
of
for
sucked
you.
when I played the other games.
Weren't you going to meet him over at Doc's?
Holy crap.
That's not
I'm
Leah
late.
Thompson doing Lorraine's voice or Marty's mom's voice. Back to the Future, the game. If they ever make another one, I wonder if they're just going to call it Back to the Future, the game, too. This is a spoiler alert, but it's not too much because I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it ends with one of those open-ended endings, but this game, I don't want to call it a trilogy, a series or whatever. There's 5 of them, so I don't know what you would even call that. I know they have quadrilogy for like 4. I've never heard like a series of like 5 things. I call it the hexology. I don't know. Alright, so I was trying to skip the credits, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. As you can see, it's 1986 instead of 1985.
Dad, are we too late to stop?
If I sounded really stupid
sale?
about knowing
Better late than never.
not knowing what a
Believe
5
how much rare stuff there is
volume
back here.
set
That's
is of
stuff.
something,
The
I
city has no
apologize.
Now,
The public
son, I
school
know
system's
you're
failed me,
upset,
but I'm
but your
also,
friend's been gone for
I don't know,
months, and
like,
the city really seems hell-bent on using his land for that new
I'm just
parking
kind of in a
garage.
haste
Hey, is
today.
that
It's just
first
a weird
edition
day.
Jules Verne?
It's just not fair.
And when I'm recording this, I
These
can't
things
think
can't get
straight. A
any
lot of
worse.
times I'll finish recording these and I'm like, damn, I should have said that, but it's whatever.
Hi, Biff.
Come to see if the old crackpot had
I
any
see he's not
buried
drinking
treasure?
light beer.
Nah, I guess I'm
If
just
you watch Back to the Future,
remembering.
the first movie, Biff comes in and he's like, "Oh, I towed your car, and all you got is light beer," because there's like Coors Light, because he's being an asshole. This is a little dog
Miss
food
Einstein.
machine from Back to the Future 1.
I'd better stick around. Doc might have left something important behind, and he wouldn't want it to end up at Biff's place.
Trying to get used to the PlayStation. There's a PlayStation version it selects for you. I'm
Hey, let
used
me-
to
Now, Biff,
playing the
leave
PC
Marty
version
alone.
where you just
This
click
is a
on what
very
you want.
emotional time for him.
Oh, sure. Sorry, Marty.
Yeah, see, Biff doesn't sound like Biff from the movies. And that's where the dog food would go. Oh, it's so amazing. So we're gonna talk to Marty's dad.
Hey, Dad.
The frame rate on here seems to be alright. It's a little bit glitchy. All the Telltale games kind of have that weird glitchy frame rate, even when you have a decent system. It just has something to do with the engine.
Who's running this sale anyway?
Oh, that'd be me, son.
You. Why?
Well, once it became apparent that the bank was going through with the sale, I volunteered to oversee it in order to make sure that Doc's stuff would be treated with a modicum of respect. Isn't that right, Biff?
You got it, Mr. McFly.
What's Biff doing here? He wasn't a friend of Doc's.
It's nice to watch a Back
It's
to
a
the
public
Future movie and
sale,
actually
Mom.
have some
Everyone's
choice
allowed.
about what you want to say.
Even Biff.
I'm gonna try to shut up on some of this stuff because, like, the genius I am, I forgot to put subtitles. I wonder if I can do that now. Should have done it in the first place. I apologize.
I'm telling you, this sale is a joke. Doc's only been gone for a few months, and I happen
It's
to know.
crazy
He's
how
told
much
us
he
he's
sounds
not
like
dead.
Michael J.
He's on a
Fox.
trip. Let's say you're right. Have you considered that this trip may not have been
I don't think
entirely voluntary? I
Kristen
hate to
Glover's
say it,
too
but
hard
Doc's
to
run up some pretty sizable debts
sound
around
like
town. Maybe
and-
he's just hiding from
and a
his creditors.
voiceover. I think in real life to impersonate him might be hard because his mannerisms are so weird.
About Biff. Dad. I
You
know
have
you're
to
trying
tell him
help.
that you can fight your own
talks a
fights
good game,
because
son, but he's
every
not
time
so
Biff gets
tough.
involved with
I've
something,
been
if you
dealing
want
with
to
him a
trap him,
long
which
time. Believe
you'll
me,
see in a
I
little
can
while,
handle it.
that his
So
dad
can
would
I.
normally stop it. Now that he won't, now that you do
I
that.
guess you can. Okay, son, I'll stay out of your way. But you know where to find me.
I'll keep looking around. Thanks, Dad.
So we're gonna go to Biff. Actually, go to the model. Go away. I said I didn't want hints, and it's still giving them to me. Or goals, or whatever it was.
Hope that wasn't poison gas or anything.
I don't like that I can't just click on this stuff. Even The Walking Dead had that feature.
Doc built this model at downtown Hill Valley way back in 1955.
So this is somewhat of a new experience to me since I didn't play it on this
Is that
system.
Doc's notebook in there?
Hey, that looks just like the courthouse. You gotta hand it to the old coot. He was good with his hands.
Biff, can I see that a minute?
This would look great in my fish tank. Give the old carp something new to nibble on.
Oh, why couldn't you got somebody to sound like Biff? He doesn't seem like, if you got like a decent voice actor, he doesn't seem like he'd be too difficult to emulate.
Can I see that model courthouse for just a second? I need to get something out of it.
Like what? A not guilty verdict? That was
Funny.
a joke.
Oh, but really, can I?
No, I think I'll hold on to it.
When they
Give it
first
here, Biff.
announced that Back to the Future was
Well,
going to be a
well,
point
looky
and
what
click
we have
game, I was
here.
pretty bummed.
It's like plans for something.
And I'm still bummed I
Looks like
can't
Flux
ride
catheter.
the.
It's none of your
Well, you
business.
can ride
Doc
the
asked me to-
DeLorean through like a
Worm,
cutscene, but I can
This
watch
looks
the
like it might be
movies and
worth
feel the
something.
same
Huh.
way. But I'm kind of upset you don't get to actually punch in the numbers of the DeLorean and actually get to drive it. The best thing I've ever seen for that is this mod on Crysis. And unfortunately, I can't run Crysis on my computer worth a shit to the degree where it actually would look cool to have the Back to the Future mod.
Hey, Dad, why's my guitar got a price tag on it?
Sorry, son. Must have been an overzealous
There's some cool
Just pick
ones
it up,
on
I'll iron
Grand
things
Theft
out with the
Auto.
bank.
I guess the ones that I've seen are Vice City, San Andreas, and 4 I guess would be the best looking one. But on the older Grand Theft Autos, the DeLorean can fly and they actually build models of like Hill Valley, so they're the cool. If you
make
like
some
don't
noise.
can't run Crysis, you have those options. The one on Crysis looks exactly like it does on the movie, and you even can see the interior of the car, which is really cool. Now, let me see. You gotta use his inventory. Alright, I got it.
Here's an oldie, but a goodie. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, look, it's Chuck Butthead.
If you don't know, Chuck Berry's
show
the
you
one
how
that
it's
played Johnny Be Good from the original Back to the Future. Not in the original Back to the Future, but that's what
Now watch
the
me
song
blow the lid
Johnny Be
off this
Good is.
joint.
That's when
Whatever you say.
that guy calls up Chuck Berry and it's kind of obvious what they're trying to do. He's like, "It's your cousin, you know, Marvin
Back
Berry."
on, Biff.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
supposed to be Marvin Berry's cousin. I mean Chuck Berry's cousin, excuse me. Dyslexia is a bitch. But if you work your way through it, you can make decent YouTube
Doc,
videos.
where are
Unfortunately, I'm still working on it. Uh-oh, that's a familiar sound. And if you didn't notice, I reenacted one of the first scenes from Back to the Future, but I don't even know why I'm telling you that, because I can't imagine somebody not seeing Back to the Future. Though I have met a few people that haven't. But that's a great excuse to watch Back to the Future. You're like, what? You haven't seen Back to the Future? Now I don't have to think of shit to do. We can just watch Back to the Future. I really need to switch the color on my TV. Marty's jacket's kind of coming off a little bit green, and I'm colorblind. But I know his jacket color's not right. Because my computer's showing a preview of it on my right side, because I have a little laptop running at the same time showing you a preview of the video I'm recording, and it's definitely red on that side. They try to explain why the DeLorean's still here, but it's really for the sake of the game. It was destroyed, and that was that really in Back to the Future 3.
Marty, if you're hearing this recording,
but apparently there's some automatic retrieval thing. But I guess it makes sense if the Back to the Future applies that alternate universe idea things. The DeLorean would have to find somewhere to go 88 miles per hour unless it was on like maybe like one of those things that they have in car factories where the car's wheels can turn as fast as they can and it just makes the car stay in place. I don't know. I'm thinking way too much about this.
That's it? Aren't you gonna tell me when that is?
Just go to the date specified on the time circuit readout under the heading marked last time departed. Good luck.
Right. Last time departed.
So this is where the demo was stopped, and it really left you hanging where you wanted to buy the game.
Crap! Oh, great. How am I supposed to find him now?
So we got
Hey,
this
Doc,
shoe.
I know I haven't seen you in a few months, but I'm pretty sure this isn't your shoe.
And we
Looks like the time circuits still work. Now I only need to know when to
don't know where to go, so that's the next thing we need to do. Let's exit. Let's go see a blurry PlayStation 3 anti-aliased Einstein.
What kind of trouble is Doc in, Einie?
Einstein from Back to the Future is long dead, or the dog that played
What do you know
Einstein.
about this
If
shoe, Einie?
he's still alive, he's probably in
Great
rough
Scott,
shape,
I think
if
he's
that's
onto something.
possible. See, that was a dumb puzzle where you have to let him smell the shoe and all of a sudden he knows where to go. That was kind of cartoony. I think a little Sam and Max rubbed off on that puzzle.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. How's this supposed to lead me to Doc, Einie?
So I guess this is what the cafe is supposed to be, but in the first Back to the Future it was like one of those exercise studios, but I guess a lot's happened since then.
Step away from the door.
Ah!
Now, let me
So there's
get a look at
Strickland's, I guess, sister.
Einstein, come on!
I don't think Strickland's in this game, oddly enough, which is weird.
hooligans.
And it's not like he couldn't be in this game because
Can you let me in?
it's
I've got
like
something
if
to
the
show
people
you.
didn't
What
want to
is it?
reprise their
Let me
role,
see.
they got somebody else to do the voice.
A shoe? Now what would I want with a... Huh?
But Bob Gale, who wrote Back to the Future, oversaw everything, and he felt this was appropriate. Though Bob Gale also okayed the cartoon series, which was supposed to be somewhat of a... There's a little awkward, funny moment. The art style's so off, it doesn't seem like Back to the Future, but
Leave that
when you play this
creature
game, there's little
outside.
hints when you play it. You feel like you're watching Back
Sorry,
to the Future
Einstein.
4. It doesn't feel like a sequel all the time, but then there's little touches in this game that feel really appropriate, like the next movie. Kind of like Indiana Jones 4, where sometimes it seems way off or way different, and then at other times it feels like you're watching an Indiana Jones movie. It's kind of
there's a lot of
inconsistent
stairs.
like
To
that, but
return
I
the
definitely
shoe,
recommend
I
if you like adventure
I
games,
lost it
or if
ages
you like
ago.
Back to the Future, and
Put it down
if you've
next to
seen the
other
movie,
one.
most people do. I definitely would
Much
recommend
better. So neat,
not even
orderly.
trying this game
Now
out,
I
just
suppose
getting
you'll
it.
be wanting some sort of reward now.
No,
The only
All
thing I
I've
have
got is
against it is I can't drive the damn DeLorean, and
sorry
the
I
interface is a
called you a
little off
hooligan.
on the console
I
version.
try not to jump to conclusions.
I
but
imagine the
after
Wii
all,
and,
9 out of 10 people in this city are
Well,
hooligans.
no, I just imagine the
It's a
Wii to be a
fact.
little bit
Look it
better,
up.
but if you have the specs to run it, the PC is probably the easiest version
Have
to
a
run.
seat, Sonny.
Though I do like the idea of sitting on the TV with a controller in hand.
Hey! You kids! Put out those cigarettes!
So we gotta get some information from her.
Miss Strickland?
Jack! Diane! I know what you're doing behind that tree!
This part's
Yes.
so cartoony. See, this part feels out of place of the trilogy.
Do you remember when you lost your shoe?
Shoe?
That shoe over there.
Oh, that shoe. Huh. Hi, what a nosy Nelly. No one likes a busybody, you know.
But
Oh, fine, let me
As
think about
annoying
it.
as she is, she plays an integral part of this
Yes,
whole
I
series.
remember. I lost it in a
Sorry if
scuffle
I'm
with a
pausing.
dog.
I'm gonna try to put the
When
sound
was
up
it?
loud so you can
Oh,
watch
yes,
while I'm
the
watching.
day that speak
How am I gonna do that
burned
yet? I
down.
haven't figured it out.
a speakeasy. in
There's
Hill Valley?
there's over
Don't
200
act
other
so
videos you can watch if you don't like this one,
surprised,
but
young man.
stick with
Your
it. You'll like it.
generation doesn't
This
hold
video, I mean.
copyright on moral depravity, you know. Sin has been on the prowl in Hill Valley since the day it was founded.
I wouldn't have mind this game having aliasing. I mean it's not terrible, but the hardware anti-aliasing on the PlayStation 3 is not that great. When they make software ones like Battlefield 3's anti-aliasing on PS3 was perfect.
Wow, a speakeasy. That must have been wild. Is it true they used to drink gin out of slippers like my grandma said?
Don't romanticize
The speakeasy was actually the
past,
idea for
young
Back to
man.
the Future 3, believe it or
Prohibition
not.
was a time when gangsters
believe Back to the
ruled
Future
the
3,
town while
Because
honest
Back to the Future
citizens
2 and 3 are
lived in
kind
their
of the same
beds.
story. They wanted to do too much, so they had to split into two movies.
So where was it? That speakeasy that burned down, I mean.
That was ages ago. If you're looking for bootleg hooch,
No, I'm just curious, that's all. I'm a student of history.
student of history, my Aunt Fanny. Yeah, your generation of hooligans and slackers could give two ripe figs about history.
Miss Strickland?
Oh, video store!
Huh?
The speakeasy
She's-
used to be hidden in plain sight.
She's kinda
down
out there.
in the town
Although she
square,
does have
right
a
where
very
that
nice
disgusting
fabric
videotape
embroidered
rental store
cat on her
squats
shirt.
today.
So the video store building must
I
have
can't
gone up
imagine
after
where
the
she must have
speakeasy burned
purchased
down.
that.
Following year,
It's even
as I
crappy for the
recall.
80s.
Doing some stargazing?
Oh, I set my sights on lower things. Is that?
So we finally know Biff's son's name, which we never saw that Biff had a son, but he had to in order to have Griff. So it's Tiff. Apparently everybody had to have the same name, or same sounding name, excuse me. Although Mad Dog Tandem was called Buford, but I guess that's a longer way of saying Biff.
So the video store building must have gone up after the speakeasy burned down.
Did she say the videos?
Following year, as I recall.
Oh, I need more information.
What's with all these newspapers?
This is my personal archive. I've got every issue of the Hill Valley Telegraph ever published.
Get out! Every single issue?
From 1871 to the present. If it happened in Hill Valley, you'll find it
It's
in
too
my
bad I can't
stats.
show you everything in a short video, because he does try and travel and there's parallel stuff without getting too deep into the story. I need to
Don't let
stop
me keep
talking
you from
to
your
her.
business.
Figure this part out so we can move on.
You there! Don't even think about tossing that Kleenex
Aye.
on the ground!
I know her voice is supposed to be terrible for Marty, but it's even for this,
Mind if I take a look?
Go ahead, dear.
it's even terrible for me to listen to. Oh, Biff's getting pornography. Wrapped up in
Rebuilt
thread.
in February 1932. So the fire must have happened before then. But when? I need a date.
Don't look at me. I'm far too old for you.
Oh, ha ha ha. So now we need to distract her.
Man, she keeps it hot in here.
That just seems out of character for him just to mess with stuff by accident. But I guess they're playing it off as on purpose. Alright, now we go through the papers. Now she's distracted because she wouldn't let you look in them before.
Speakeasy, singer vanishes, Hill Valley Expo delights crowd, soup kitchen exposed. Here we go. Speakeasy, arsonist slain. Legal procedure gave way to old-fashioned vengeance last night when a mob descended on the Hill Valley police
If you
station.
close your eyes,
The
you really
suspect
can
in
hear
the
Michael
Speakeasy
J.
arson
Fox
case,
talking,
a
even though
drifter
it's
known
not
as
him.
Carl Sagan, was pulled from his... Carl Sagan?
Oh.
It's Doc! Killed by a mob. What's the date? June 14th, 1931. Jeez, I gotta rescue him.
Crap.
My newspapers!
Sorry, Miss Strickland. Let me...
No! You've gotten my history out of order. Oh, do you know
The
how
shadows
long
are a
it'll
little bit
take to fix
pixelated. I
what
don't
you've
remember them being
done?
like that in the PC version.
Now, get out! Get out! Get out!
With pleasure. I can't stand that sound that's coming out of your mouth.
Marty!
Wonder how much
Where you
trash
been,
you
son?
really need
And
to
what are you
get that
doing in that getup?
Mr. Fusion to work.
Didn't I tell you? I got the lead in the school play. We're doing...
Grapes of Wrath?
Right.
Oh, Steinbeck. Who are you playing?
Grapes of Wrath, one of the few
Never
really
mind,
old
you don't
movies I
have to
really
explain.
enjoy.
I'm sure whatever
I
it is
know
you're
that's
up
so
to, you know
bad
what you're
for
doing, right?
somebody
hope
my
so.
age to be like,
Hey,
oh, old movies
sometimes you
suck.
gotta go out on a
I don't know
limb
what
for
it
the
is
one
about the
you
way
love,
a lot
right?
of older
Wish
movies
my
are
dad
filmed.
had
It just
understood that.
distracts me.
You won't stay away too
Although I
long.
like the artsy
barely
one, like
know I was,
Citizen Kane was really cool, and I like some of the
Ready to go, Einstein?
film noir like style of everything. I just usually don't like the acting or the story or whatever, but I like the aesthetic look of older movies, if that makes any sense. But as far as story and stuff goes, I usually don't care, but some are cool. Like Citizen Kane was cool, Grapes of Wrath was cool. The war movies are usually awful because they're so phony, because they didn't show anything like violence or realism back then. Make sure we turn on the time circuits.
Flux capacitor. Fluxy.
But I do like the visual design of old Hollywood. I wish they would do that with modern movies and then add maybe some of the acting and story and some of the more realism of modern movies with the old style Hollywood. It's pretty cool. And I think they touched upon it a little bit. Like Blade Runner was even though it was a science fiction movie, it kind of mixed like all those genres together, I think. Alright, now that we have time circuits, I'm talking. I'm not even doing anything. Oh, I have to use the right stick. That's my problem. Time circuits keyboard, put it in time.
If Doc's gonna get killed on June 14th, 1931, I'll just show up the day before and get him out. I hope you know what you're doing, Doc.
Apparently the DeLorean's still glitchy, so it must have been similar to the same one. There's a big gap, like we never know what Doc does like at the end of Back to the Future 1 before he comes back from the future to warn Marty, and we really don't know what he does after Marty comes back and Back to Hill Valley in 1985, Back to the Future 3, and then Doc Brown comes back on the train, so there's some gaps where I guess he could have done something to make the time machine come back. I don't know. For the art style, I guess the DeLorean looks pretty cool going in time. I mean, it doesn't look as good as the Crisis one. It's like really early CGI Pixar Back to the Future right now. Surprised the graphics weren't a little bit more advanced in this, because I could totally see this more as a Wii game. But the requirements were somewhat high for what the graphics look like on the PC. I don't get it. But maybe the engine just wasn't made very well. I don't know. Oh, the DeLorean. Oh, that's funny. It kind of looks somewhat similar because it has a little vents in the back or whatever the hell that's supposed to be. So that was pretty epic with the Back to the Future soundtrack and whatnot. So I am going to end the video here because it's already long enough. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you had fun. Back to the Future for the PlayStation 3.